He's Corey. I'm Aslan. It's Warchant TV. We are here at the Westin Hotel in Charlotte, North Carolina. Final day of ACC Kickoff. The Atlantic went today, home of the defending conference champions, Clemson. Who cares about them?
Nobody does.
The Florida State Seminoles. Willie Taggart in his first appearance as head football coach at ACC Kickoff brought Cam Akers and Brian Burns with him. Willie made quite an impression on me today, I thought, just with the way he kind of handled himself and in all the different rooms he was at. What did you take away from Willie? Maybe not so much what he said, but how he said things.
Yeah, man, he's a cool guy that knows, more than anything, he's got a clarity about what he wants in his program. And he does, man. And, you know, one of the things I wrote about that's on the site now as you're watching this is, you know, he wants his culture to be about, I know we all talk about the fun and the music, and it is going to be fun. I think it's a lot more fun than it has been around here. But there's also accountability, and there's dependability, and there's discipline. And, you know, you talk to Willie, and then you talk to Brian Burns and Cam Akers, it sure sounds like there wasn't a whole lot of accountability or discipline the last few years in this program for whatever reason. And he had to clean up a mess. Even as close as Florida State was to having a really good season last year, he had to clean up a mess.
In an explosive division, maybe the most explosive division in America, Florida State ranked last in offensive production last year. I was shocked to see that. Does that shock you?
Yeah, I think everything about last year shocked me when it came to Florida State. But that's football and that's life, and that's behind us now. And it's on us now to change those things, because we know we can be a lot better than what we did last year, and that's the expectation for us, to be a lot better than what we performed last year. And so I'm looking forward to our guys changing that narrative.
Quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm.
People want to know about quarterbacks.
Yep.
We didn't get a name. I don't know if we got any hints. What did you get from the quarterback competition and maybe where it stands?
Well, I think I told you last week that I was leaning 51-49 that it would be Francois. Now I'm thinking more 60-40, 65-35. I just think, you know, Willie was talked glowingly about him and how much he had matured, how much he had grown in the last 6-7 months, really. That it was his idea. He said it was his idea to move back to campus. He's been around his teammates more. He's been laughing and joking with them. And that means a lot to Willie Taggart, man. He's a former quarterback, and he's a gregarious guy that was friends with all his teammates, and they all played hard for him. And that's what he's trying to get across to DeAndre is, man, these guys got to want to play for you. And it seems like, and I was talking to you off the air about this, it seems like he's almost going out of his way to laud and speak glowingly of DeAndre Francois, because I think he wants him to be the starting quarterback. That's me reading into it 100%. But I think he might think, and that's how unequivocal is that, he might think that 12 gives him his best chance of winning. So he's trying. He's had a bunch of conversations about him being a leader. And why would he do that if he wasn't wanting him to be the starting quarterback?
Him and I have had plenty one-on-one meetings, which tell me he's a good kid that really want to do well, you know, and probably misunderstood at times because he's such a quiet kid or by himself, you know, and that doesn't make him a bad kid. It just, he go about doing things totally different.
What did you take away most from Brian Burns? Was it the fact that, in sort of your words, he embraces, I guess, the structure that Willie's putting forth? Is that what you got the best from Brian?
I think so, yeah. He said that he was happy that there was a system in place now that punished kids for missing summer workouts. You know, apparently, you know, we asked Cam Akers about, or he was asked about what the punishment was last year for summer, if you missed a summer workout or were late, and he laughed at just the notion of there being discipline last year. And you know, this year there is discipline. They have to get up at dawn and go push weights around the field if they miss summer, if they're even late to summer workouts. And that's accountability. And Brian Burns said, yeah, man, he seemed enamored of it. He embraced it. He wants to be coached like that. He wants that kind of discipline. He wants that kind of structure, because he thinks that's why they lost some close games last year, because they're guys that didn't really care about playing for each other, and, you know, or being reliable. Reliability wasn't a big deal, it wouldn't seem, in the classroom. Anything off the field, it didn't seem like reliability was a really big deal in this football program. Whether it was being in the classroom, whether it was showing up to summer workouts, Willie Taggart is instilling that has to be part of the foundation of his program. Wins and losses are all that matter, we get it. But Willie Taggart believes that starts with the bottom of reliability, accountability, dependability.
And then from Cam Akers, I think a lot of people wonder, how is everybody going to be happy sharing the ball? But he shared his goals, and the fact that probably the only people that are worried about those guys being happy about sharing the ball are the people on the outside.
Yeah, no, and he said, you know, he has pretty tame goals for this season, just 1,800 to 2,000 yards and 15 or so touchdowns is what he said. and there's no reason to think he can't get close to that. He was actually asked in one of the press conferences about his 5.3 yards per carry average last season, and he kind of shook his head and said, man, it's got to be better than that. He's seen other Florida State guys that had over 7 yards per carry. He's got to get that number up, and that number will go up just because I believe the system that they play. But yeah, man, he also said he doesn't need 28 carries, and he's not going to get 28 carries a game. He might get 20, but there's a lot of good guys in that backfield too that are going to be sharing the ball with him.
Right. I don't know how long this just went for, but we pretty much did this, but
a
whole lot more of it on our Wake Up Warchant podcast. If you don't subscribe to it, go ahead and subscribe.
You're dumb if you don't subscribe.
Let's not be that forceful on it.
Yeah.
Questionable decisions.
You don't have to look at this if you just listen to the podcast.
Exactly. We sat down with Willie Taggart, myself, and Corey, about a 10-minute plus interview with him on the podcast. Listen to that. Read his column, videos, interviews, everything and more you can want over at warchant.com. Check it all out. He's Corey. I'm Aslan. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys back in Tallahassee.